Okay, exactly 8 o'clock. A very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is Thursday, 23rd March 2023. We will be continuing our sharing from this book, Straight from the Heart, Unique Dhamma Code, as spoken by me. We are at code number 42. We just finished 41 in our previous Thursday class. So turn to page 12. We are at code 42. Okay, as usual, let us compose our mind, develop the faith, Saddha, Virya, then mindfully we shall commence the Puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛，南无弥勒佛，南无弥勒佛。南无弥勒佛，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无普贤菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无地藏王菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adina Dana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Puja. Buddhang Pujemi. Dhammang Pujemi. Sanghang Pujemi. Okay, you all can be seated. Let us also rejoice with the Puja offering. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. So make sure you make full use of this half an hour to establish the stability of awareness within. So follow those instructions that I have given you all. Develop clear understanding of what the four support are, especially the first three. Then you will know how to do it. Then after you have done it, you will progress very fast. You will understand the teaching very easily. Because without sati, without awareness, you cannot be heedful. And if you are not heedful, the Buddha very clearly under Dhammapada verse 21, the heedless are as if dead. That's why heedfulness is very important. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. Whereas heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedless are as if dead. So when you understand this Apamada verse, you will pay attention to the development of heedfulness. To be heedful, you must be mindful at least to start off with. Because heedfulness, as defined by Dhammapada verse 23, has two components. The first component is ever mindful. Then second component, constantly meditative. To be ever mindful, we have to train our mind to be mindful first, before we can stabilize it to be ever mindful. That's why the four support for awareness-based meditation is to help you develop the stability of mindfulness within, so that in the midst of life, in formal meditation or throughout the day, you are in this meditative state. Means you're not only mindful, you have stabilized it to be ever mindful. Then use it to cultivate the meditation as taught by the Buddha, which is basically the cultivation of the Noble Eightfold Path. Then that is constantly meditative, means before you become enlightened, you have to be ever mindful and constantly meditative. If you hold on to these two practices steadfastly, according to the Buddha, you will be destined for enlightenment. Means those who have heedfulness, the ever mindful and constantly meditative and steadfast one, they will realize the supreme enlightenment, which is Nibbana. So this understanding denotes the reason why awareness is very important, or sati is very important. So our awareness-based meditation is to help you establish this sati. So the first three of the four support, they are relatively easy to understand. And when you understand, you progress very fast. So the first support is relax. Relax completely, body and mind. After you relax, you follow by the second support, which is just maintain awareness. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to know. Don't try to do. Because that knowing and doing is always by the thought. It will give rise to sankhara activity and thinking. Whereas here we are training ourselves to be mindful, to be aware, which is a mental quality that is silent, completely still. Because sati or mindfulness is awareness before the knowing. It's just an awareness that is aware, that's it. That is what sati is. the direct seeing, you need sati. To insight into phenomena, you need sati. You cannot use thought. To develop the silent mind, the meditative mind, you need to be in sati. And when you stabilize it, it becomes beautiful. So the first 3 support is just to do this. Relax, maintain awareness, then whatever arises, away, finish. Then stabilize this training. So the third support is to stabilize the awareness that has been developed or that is starting to stabilize in you. You have to continue to relax, maintain awareness until it becomes very stable, very clear. Then after that, you can understand many things. That mind that has been trained to develop the inner awareness become very sensitive, very clear. It has the spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya. Before it's stabilized, there is no Samadhi. But when you stabilize it, that Sati stabilizes and becomes Samadhi. Means your mind not only is aware, it's also collected and unwavering. When your mind is collected and unwavering without thought in the state of Sati, means you are ever mindful throughout the day, most of the time, whether formal meditation or informal meditation. That's why if you have this developed, the step 4 and 5 of Avijja Sutta become very easy. With mind established in Sati, with the stability of it, it can contemplate, it can reflect, it can see things as they are, it can develop the first, second, and third turning wisdom, leading to Yoniso Manasikara, which is the wisdom at the moment of sense experience. Initially born of the first 2 turning, first and second turning of the Four Noble Truths, is just the initial wisdom. Then later on, as you go into the third turning, Bhavanamaya Panya, that wisdom is very penetrative. And then your Yoniso Manasikara become very stable. It's no longer an initial wisdom, it's a stability of wisdom. Then when that happens, you will have more space between thought. You have very little thinking, hardly any thinking. Most of the time you are just aware. So from step 4 of Avijja Sutta, you move into step 5, which is Sati Sampajana. You're not only mindful, you have clear comprehension throughout the day. Initially, it's within your waking moments. Later on, you can even develop the ability to be aware even while you are resting or in your sleeping moments. Means when your body is resting or like sleeping, like you maintain awareness inside. And it can be done. That's why meditation technically can be developed over 24-hour period. It can be done. My nature has done it before. That's why it's not an issue or a problem. It's not something that people talk about but can never be done. No, it can be done. So okay, with that, I will let you meditate on your own. You can slowly, mindfully come out of meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the meditative mind state that you need to carry on into your daily life. Make use of this trained meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness to live life, to develop the daily mindfulness, to be heedful throughout the day. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven a release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhamang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakkamokadang Dhamma Svanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Svanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Svanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti Peso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opanayiko Pachyatang Veditabo Vinohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Cattari Purisa Yukani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakkeneyo Anjali Karaneyo Anuttarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. We are at verse unit Dhamma Code, verse 42. We finished 41, which is what is true action. That section is very good. If you have not heard the previous Thursday sharing, you better go and listen to it. What constitutes true action based on the teachings of the Buddha? So when you understand what is true action, then you know how to act. Then you will know how to apply the teaching. In fact, if you look at the essential Dhamma as taught by the Buddha, it points towards true action, which is how to develop the wisdom required for true action to arise. And there are a lot of intermediate teachings within the essential Dhamma that I have shared with you all. Go and listen to it. It's very comprehensive so that you can have the understanding. It links up the whole of Avijja Sutta too. And the Noble Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths, and all the other related essential Dhamma. In fact, the three turnings are also included, and how to arise the Yoniso Manasikara, which is the wisdom required for true action to arise. And what is living beings' deluded action based on memory? Because living beings, most of them, they don't know they have two minds. They only understand the mundane thinking mind. That's why they always act from the thought process, sankhara. So when they act from the thought process, which is sankhara, normally they will retrieve it from the memory. And the memory is the accumulation of experiences, good and bad, your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, including all your accumulated fear, phobia, insecurity, all of your emotional negativity, envy, jealousy, hatred, delusion. All this give rise to negativity of thought process. That's why it conditions wrong thought. So all of our views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, including all the negative tendency, they are all accumulated in our memory. So if we don't have this awareness to see all this, to understand all this, then we will naturally only act according to memory, because that is the only instrument lay people have. And they always act that way. So based on what we can develop as understanding when we have stabilized our mindfulness, we can see, we can understand how we become entangled, how we get ourselves through delusion, develop affliction, suffering, misery, through arising all the wrong thought. So what are wrong thoughts? Wrong thoughts are thoughts that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion that condition our suffering, especially our fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation, our sadness, our reaction to sense experience. All these are wrong thoughts. So the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, they are very powerful. So you act from memory, you are not acting at all. That is delusion. That as true cultivators of the way, following the advice of the Buddha, we develop the Dhamma understanding, which is wisdom, born of understanding what is going on, born of self-knowledge, born of silent awareness, observation of the truth. Then we start to develop clear understanding of who we are, what we are, and how we function as a human being, and how we react to sense experience through our views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, etc., all liberating from the memory. And all this trigger of affliction, suffering, misery. And when we see this, we start to develop clear understanding to straighten our view not to act that way anymore. Then we develop the Dhamma understanding to act differently. Yeah. That's why acting according to memory is not acting at all. Whereas acting according to Dhamma way, which is the wisdom way, is true action. And the Dhamma way is following the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind. Basically, it's the Noble Eightfold Path, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. We are according to the Fourth Noble Truth. If you cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, which is the meditation as taught by the Buddha, it will lead to the end of all suffering. And this is what wisdom is all about, enlightenment is all about. When there is wisdom, there is liberation from suffering. There is no more ignorance, delusion, avijja, sakkaya ditthi. So all this become very, very clear. Okay, so that is just a quick summary. So now we go to Unit Dhamma Code 42, page 12, the second last two. These are all subsequent code that is related to true action. How to develop true action, how to develop the wisdom and all those things. So code 42, I read to you all. By now I think you all should have the clear understanding. To develop wisdom, what must one do? To develop wisdom, one needs to meditate with a true mind to awaken. So this is a very important understanding. Meditate with a true mind means meditate with the awareness nature within. Your true mind is your silent mind, the meditative mind, the inner awareness nature that is just aware. That's why that one is just an awareness. No knowing before the knowing. It's just aware. That's why there is clarity. It's not lost in thought. It's not entangled. Because that one, the awareness is clear seeing, direct seeing. That one can insight into phenomena, awaken, can observe without thought, to understand clearly how we function as a human, to see clearly the dwelling within the Paticca Samuppada as taught by the Buddha. Then we start to understand who we are, what we are, and how we function as a human, and what is this aggregate of form and mind all about. What is this so-called human being all about? What is mind, basically? The two aspects of it. So all this understanding will surface. That's why without sati, without mindfulness, without the inner awareness, which is your true mind, the silent mind, the meditative mind, you cannot meditate. You cannot develop wisdom. If you use your thought process, thought-based approach, then you will develop a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge are from the past, from memory. So when you have knowledge, it is not a wisdom. It is something that is quite rigid and quite fixed. Your knowledge, actually, when you don't understand it and don't know how to use it, it binds. That's why there is a saying, knowledge binds. Whatever you know actually binds you, cause affliction in you. Basically, there is nothing to know. The truth is just the truth. The way things are. No need word, no need concept. No truth, no need to have any knowledge. Truth is. The reality is. That's why things is just the way they are, such as all this. So, code 42, unique code. To develop wisdom, one needs to meditate with the true mind to awaken. So this is the first understanding. So the true mind is our silent mind. It's our awareness nature within. That's why I teach you all to develop the stability of inner awareness by following the awareness-based meditation, using the four support to develop it. So the four support to develop awareness is very important. That's why we call it the awareness-based meditation. We are cultivating the four support to stabilize it. Then code 43, elaborate it further. So this one is the reverse approach. Just how we say to develop wisdom, we need to meditate with the true mind. So here, code 43 is the reverse, because you need to meditate with the true mind means what? According to the code that I share with you all, means to develop this meditation, you must realize the true mind. So to meditate technically is just to realize the true mind, means to train your mind to develop the inner awareness so that you can be in contact with the true mind, so that you realize what the true mind is. Yeah. The true mind is just the awareness nature within, sati, before the knowing. So don't try to know and don't try to do. Then stabilize it until the mind enters sati. This part demands a deeper understanding. So to meditate is to realize the true mind first. By now you can have the understanding already. That's why without sati, you cannot move. You cannot meditate with a thought process, thinking mind, or thought-based meditation. That's why you must meditate with awareness nature within, which is our true mind, our silent mind. So the moment you realize your true mind, you can meditate. From there, wisdom can arise. But then, most of the time, initially when you realize what that thing is, it's just a glimpse. And most people will be curious. The moment you are curious, you arise a thought, hey, what is that? How come it's so quiet, so still? But only a glimpse. Then after that, the thought proliferates. That's why you cannot stabilize it. You cannot understand what that thing is. Most people can't even touch it or have a glimpse of it. They don't even know that they have a still mind or silent mind when thought ceases, because they can't allow their thought to cease. They are so heedless, constantly holding on to things, grasping on to things. They think a lot. They become so heedless because they lack the spiritual faculty. Instead, they have a lot of the five mental hindrances that hinders their mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness, where there is no thought involved. That's why, because of that, they find it so difficult to settle down, to let the mind or thought cease, to realize the true mind. Not easy, because they don't know what is thought-based meditation and awareness-based meditation. They don't know how to separate them. And nobody taught, hardly anybody taught this way of understanding, unless that person has already had the understanding himself. And then maybe he can share and teach. But to teach is not easy. If the understanding has not stabilized, they can't teach also. Well, they don't know what this thing is. Actually, to put it into words is more difficult. But after they have stabilized the understanding and over a period of cultivation, then they start to develop the ability to share and guide people to develop this so-called meditative mind, the inner awareness, sati, mindfulness. So now I read Unique Code 43, so that you can have clear understanding. Unique Code 43. To meditate is to realize the true mind, then stabilize that true mind until the mind enters sati. This second part, until mind enters sati, means until this mind is continuously aware. Means there is no gap. It's just awareness, continuous awareness. When you can develop that, means your mind has entered sati. Like I share with you all, whatever arises, aware. So at the end of the day, when mind enters sati, is just aware, or it becomes very quiet and very still. Then that mind just stay. Wherever you locate it, it just stay there. And it becomes very sensitive. That mind that has entered sati is in sati. Then during that moment, whatever you do, when you come out of it, all of your action, physical, mental, and nature's movement, the awareness is there. That's why we have specific phenomenal awareness, which means all of your seeing is in sati. Hearing is also in sati. But the mind that is responsible for the arising of the consciousness of seeing, hearing, smell, taste, tactile, and thought process, they will be in sati, where your mind has entered sati. That's why at that moment, the cultivator of the way become different. They start to see things that they never see before. Because when mind enters sati, you are all the time aware without thought. That's why you can see things clearly, specific phenomenal awareness, without thought coming in to interfere. Then you can act using the true mind, the silent mind, with the wisdom developed. You no need to depend on memory, your views, opinion, and conditioning, and your belief system, or your habitual tendency. All those things, no need. So mind entering sati can be developed in many ways. Initially, if you are in the formal meditation, then you relax, maintain awareness, and stabilize it until it becomes very quiet and very still. Until all the sankhara activities slow down, until it completely comes to a standstill. Then there is just that awareness nature within. That nature is just quiet, peaceful, still. We call it the tranquility of mind, stillness of mind, the silent mind. And that is your meditative mind, because there is just awareness within, nothing else, no word, no concept, nothing. That's why because there is no word, no concept, no idea, no creation, no manifestation. That's why that mind got no duality. It cannot stir, it cannot react. It doesn't hold on to anything. It does not dwell too. So that is the true mind, the silent mind, which is the most beautiful nature within. So when you are able to stabilize your inner awareness until you realize that silent mind, then allow it to stay still. Means don't do anything after that. Don't try to note, sitting, touching, or verbalize anymore. Don't do anything. Just allow the silence, the awareness nature, to become very quiet and very still. Then wherever you locate this mind, it will detect, because this one is in sati, very sensitive. So even if you have approached it from any object of meditation like anapanasati or whatever, even rising, falling, or what, is the same. You will reach a stage where your meditative awareness become very, very subtle, very quiet, like anapanasati. where the breath becomes very subtle, like you hardly breathe. That subtle breathing. Normal sati, not stable enough, not refined enough to detect. So to them, it's like no more movement, like no more breathing. But if you are patient and you have the understanding, proper guidance, you stay with the breath, no matter how subtle, how quiet or still it is, stay with it. Then relax deep into it until the awareness and the breath become one, completely synchronized and harmony. Then after that you realize the mind enters sati. Then when the mind enters sati, any subtle movement or activity, even the very slight in and out breath, is actually not a movement at all. We call this the internal breathing. Like externally you don't breathe, but there is a movement, a very subtle movement on the inner breath or inner nature. So during that time, the awareness can pick up that very fine movement. That's why when your sati become more refined, it can have the ability to be aware, even the subtle movement. And then that time you realize you no need depend on anything. Because the mind that is in sati, no need to dwell on anything. But if you have something for it to dwell, it will stay there. It will become very quiet and very still. Like your heartbeat or any vibration. It will stay there. And it will become very, very quiet and very still. You have to go through all this. Then when mind enters sati, all of your movement and activity like magnify. Then a lot of things you will come to understand. Then your awareness become different. The way you live life, the way you observe, the way you see things, listen to things, all different. It's no more using the thought process. It's no more from memory. It's just the awareness. So that part, hopefully is clear how mind enters sati. The mind has to be in the state of continuous sati awareness. It's just aware throughout, silent, still. You got object of meditation, then let it become very quiet and very still until no more movement. And then mind enters sati. Then when mind enters sati, you will know. Any slightest movement, even the subtle breathing or whatever, you can pick it up. Because the mind has become so refined. The awareness nature has become so refined and so stable. So during that time, it's very easy to maintain awareness. Wherever you locate your mind, there is sati. It's just aware. That's why later on, the fourth support, you move it to your heart area, silent, don't do anything. The stability of the sati or awareness that you have developed will detect on its own. Then your heartbeat or any vibration, our bodily vibration, there is a lot. Wherever you locate it, wherever there is contact, you can be aware there. But even without contact, like your heartbeat, you no need stethoscope. You just silent and the awareness near your heart area. It will detect by itself. Then even the subtle pulse, the pulse of life, I call it vibration, the very subtle vibration, the movement activity. You can feel them. And even in your brain, everywhere, wherever you locate within your physical, you can feel them. That's why when you are able to be mindful to that stage, you become very sensitive. Whatever happened to you inside physically, you can be aware. And when you eat something or drink something, or you experience some what they call external condition that fluctuate, which part of your brain is responsible for those taste or activity, you will know. Especially when you take something like spicy or whatever, then like chili or certain type of soup, how it detect the cognition to your brain. So all this you know, which part of the brain is responsible for those activities. That mind has transformed and become very different, very subtle. So mind entering sati. I hope with this explanation is clear. Now we go back to the next quote. After quote 42 and 43, we go to the quote 44. So unique Dhamma quote 41 is true action. Now unique Dhamma quote 44 is the true mind. How to understand the true mind? So I define for you all. The true mind is a silent mind. Silent means without thought, which is tranquil, still, and just aware. And it is just an awareness nature within. Because this one is just a nature, like your karmic nature, your spiritual nature. It's not a being, it's not a person that can come out and live life. That's why the awareness nature is not you, it's not a being, it's not a permanent unchanging entity where you can hold on to, cling on to, and grasp onto and say, this is me, this is I, like my awareness nature. No such thing. That nature is the oneness nature. You need a vehicle and a tool karmically conditioned out for you to have the ability to connect to that nature. That is the uniqueness of creation. That is the uniqueness of existent life. Because this nature can only arise when the living being come as a form and mind. Means that individual segmented life that you come. Like this life, our segmented life is our human form and mind. So what you call Bratio is my form and mind, this segment. So karmically conditioned out. And because it's karmically conditioned out, that's why it's connected to that nature. There's a karmic nature that support. Like the Buddha say, we are born of our karma, that karmic nature, supported by our karma. We also inherit, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of. So that karmic nature is there. Trigger off the form and mind. So this vehicle and tool that come as a segmented by aggregate of form and mind is karmically conditioned out for us to arise within this existential world, the universe. That each and every one of us, we have this nature within, but we don't know how to access it. We don't know how to connect to it. That's why you have to learn this awareness-based meditation to develop the ability to connect, to realize the gateway so that you can connect into it and understand what this is. So the whole process is not easy. You don't have somebody who has gone through and done it before. They cannot teach it to you because to realize the true mind itself is already so difficult. So now I will read the whole unique Dhamma quote again so that it becomes clearer. The true mind is the silent mind and is also called the meditative mind. So this true mind is our silent mind, our meditative mind, which is just tranquil, still, and just aware, without thought. It's just an awareness nature within. It's not a being that can come out and live life. That's why it's anatta. Not a permanent unchanging entity where you can grasp onto, cling onto and hold onto, and say, this is me, this is I, therefore all this can be mine. Because that is not the five aggregate of form and mind. The five aggregate of form and mind, yes, is a human being. Okay? But because of Sakayaditi, self-delusion, living being cannot understand. They cannot separate the two. They thought the whole of life is the form and mind, the human being. So they thought the five aggregate is what they are. That's why they identify with it and develop the delusion, self-delusion. They created the existential personality, or what we call the atta. So when you believe this form and mind is you, what happened is it trigger off Sakayaditi, self-delusion. So when there is this identifying with the form and mind, you created that ego, the personality. And this ego is the source of our wrong thought, downfall, delusion. Because we believe we exist. So what happened? That personality created the greed, the selfishness, the entity that wants to own things, have things, and control things. And this is all part of the evil roots of greed, including your desire, your craving, your covetousness. That's why you grasp onto things, you hold onto things, you attach to so many things. You want to own them, possess them, all your possessiveness, covetousness, craving, desire, lust, selfishness. All these are part and parcel of the evil roots of greed. Then because you have a personality, too wrong thought, too wrong view, then when things don't go your way, you get angry. You develop envy, jealousy, hatred, violence, emotional negativity. This is the evil root of hatred. Then when you cannot understand, when you don't have the faith, the understanding, then you trigger off doubt. You trigger off fear, worry, anxiety, where you don't know what is going on. So all this is part of delusion. That's why the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, they will surface once you cling onto the five aggregate of form and mind. And meditation is to develop this silent mind, the inner awareness, to see this clearly and wake up. To realize that the five aggregate of form and mind is not you. It's not the true mind. This one is the mundane mind, the thinking mind. That's why the Buddha said that one, if you don't understand, it will give rise to a lot of affliction, suffering, misery. That's why the Buddha said, this mundane mind is the forerunner of all things. When mind arises, all things arise. But this is the creation, the creative force. The mundane mind is karmic. It has mental intention, it has views, opinion, condition from memory, your habitual tendency. So this one is delusion. That's why living beings, because they fail to see this, to understand all this, they cannot awaken. They are trapped in samsara, continuous birth and death, cycle of birth and death, the wheel of life. So all this is because of self-delusion, Sakayaditi, that created the personality or the egoic mind. So when this is understood, then our mind becomes different. Then we can straighten our view and we can liberate. Then we will come to understand that the five aggregate of form and mind as taught by the Buddha is impermanent. Every of the five aggregate, they are impermanent. dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena. And because they are impermanent, following nature's law, the pancha niyamas, if one thinks your way, which is not nature's way, you suffer. That's why the second universal characteristic after impermanent is suffering. Anicca, dukkha. Then the last one is anatta. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Because it is anicca, because the conditioned world, everything is condition arising, causal phenomena, dependent originating, is not a permanent unchanging entity. Hence, it's non-self. Because it's not a permanent unchanging entity where you can say this is me, this is I, this is self, and you have full control. No. So when you see all this clearly, you understand all this clearly, whatever that is dependent originating, follow nature's condition to arise and cease. Whatever that arises, that's why the Buddha said, there are causes and conditions behind. And the causes and conditions, they follow the pancha niyama. And most of the time is mental related to karmic. That's why it's karma niyama. So 99.9% is karmic. That's why he said we are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. We are what we are because of karma. So if that is the condition, that is the truth, then we have to take care of karma because our life depends almost entirely on karma. So apart from karma, of course, there are also the 4 other nature's law that governs life existence. The scientific law is nothing to do with the form and mind. It's nature's physical law, they call Uttu Niyama, or nature's biological order, Bija Niyama. And then Karma Niyama, the major part of it, where everything that involves the thought process, the mental intention is karma. Then there is this Chitta Niyama, means order of the mind, how your mind actually function. The 12 limb paticca samuppada. That one you have to observe it, the movement. So once you understand that, you know how the mind function, then you know how your mundane mind function. That's why you will come to know who are you, what are you, and how you function as a human. And how did the mundane mind stir, react to sense experience, and got itself entangled into suffering and misery. And how the sphere arises, all this. Then when you are aware, you realize they are not intrinsic within our nature. They are all dependent originating, non-intrinsic. Means they are dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena. That's why they are impermanent. Depending on condition, it arises. When condition cease to be, it cease to be. That's why everything come and go, birth and death, arising, passing away. Then you want to break it up further, arising, sustaining, then the final passing away. So under the sustainment phase, there is a growth, plateauing off, and the dying phase. So sometimes we call it the 2-stage cycle, birth and death, rising and passing away. Then you extend it to the arising, means the birth, then the sustainment, then the ceasing of it, the 3-phase cycle. Then some people break it up into 4-phase cycle, because the sustainment phase got 2. One is the birth leading to the growing phase. Growing means like we are, as a child, we grow up, then we reach puberty, then after that we reach our peak. Then the growth hormone, no more, or very little. And then we start to age. And that aging phase is the what they call growth and decay. Growth phase followed by decay, then it ceases. So how you want to break it down is entirely up to you. But in your sati, awareness-based meditation, you will see that at the moment of its arising, sustaining the whole movement and is passing away, there and then the sati will see. Then you will understand the three characteristics straight away. You are inside into it. Everything is just the way it is. It becomes so clear. That's why without sati, you cannot see. Yeah? Without sati, you use your thought to actually label, to analyze, or to what they call reason. So all this cannot lead to the direct seeing. If thought is involved, the mind can only do one thing at a time, like I used to explain to you before. It's either aware without thought, so that it can be aware of all the movement, activity, or whatever, internal and external. But the moment thought arises, what happens? Thought is respond to memory. Right? So that mind is either the mundane mind or the true mind. So if the mundane mind creates the thought, then you are preoccupied with what you are thinking, means you are lost in thought. True or not? And you can only do one thing at a time. When you are lost in thought, you cannot be aware anymore. Of course, people say they can multitask. But then your awareness nature has to be stable. And most people don't have the awareness nature at all. Not to say it's not there, it's there, but they are not in contact with it. They are most of the time lost in thought, preoccupied with their thinking, the sankhara activity, their reaction of mind, their emotion. So if you, like a science student, you draw a line. Yeah? One side is thought process, thinking mind, or we call it the mundane mind. The other one is no thought, silent mind, the true mind. Living beings who are not enlightened, the Puthujjana or the lay people, who don't have the Dhamma, don't have the training, don't have the understanding, they are 99.999%, sometimes 100% in the thought process. Even when they sleep, they still think. Sankhara activity still arise. That's why they still have the subconscious release and unconscious release. And sankhara keep on moving, non-stop. That's why a lot of people, if they got insomnia or what they call cannot sleep or whatever, they realize they think a lot. They cannot settle down. They cannot become quiet, peaceful, tranquil, because they don't know how to meditate. They don't know how to relax and maintain awareness, to silence. So because of that, you plot that graph, 90%, in fact, almost 99.99%, they are heedlessly lost in thought most of the time, thinking. Whereas the cultivator of the way, most of them, they are without thought. It's a very small number, 0.000, I don't know how many 01. Then even if you can be one of them, to meditate until most of the time you are just aware without thought, it's not easy. Yeah. So hopefully with this explanation, you can develop better understanding of what this nature is, this awareness nature is. That's why it's very important to realize the true mind, the silent mind, and meditate from there. Not to go back to thought-based, but thought has its purpose in life, its usage. But thought, you can only learn how to use it when you have the Dhamma understanding, the wisdom, the Yoniso Manasika. Before that, you don't have right view. When you don't have right view, you cannot use thought, because whatever you use will be based on your views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, memory. That's why that one can give rise to a lot of problem, a lot of issue, a lot of entanglement, a lot of suffering, a lot of affliction, and a lot of karmic activity. Whereas you develop the awareness nature within, Most of the time you are just aware and silent and you are hardly lost in thought. Means most of the time you are mindful, heedful. That's why you can awaken, develop the straightening of the view, the wisdom. Then when you have the right view, right understanding, and then you can use thought. And then thought become right thought. That's why Noble Eightfold Path is about right view leading to right thought. Right thought condition, right speech, right action, right livelihood. Then the four right effort can be executed based on those understanding. Because to execute the four right effort, especially the third and fourth right effort, you must have right view. Otherwise, you cannot right effort to arise, the right thought that are still not in you. Because without right view, you cannot. Right thought initially is right according to the individual. Means the individual's views, opinion, right according to you, is not the true, what they call right thought. That right thought is independent of the ego, is born of wisdom, clarity, following the nature's law. Then the final fourth right effort is to refine upon whatever right thought, right action, right speech, and right livelihood that you have developed until you can perfect them all. That also need right view to develop it. That's why after that, sati and samadhi become like very natural to you, automatic. But once you have the awareness, nature, heedfulness, you will have sati, samadhi. So the last two path factor are meditative path factor. That's why the sila part is mainly right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. They are the sila part. Then right view is the wisdom part. Then right effort, right sati, and right samadhi is the cultivation part. So all this can be subdivided into sila, samadhi, and panya. So sila is morality. That's why morality is based on the right view, the trigger of the right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. And that is the moral aspect of thought, action, and speech. Then these three you use to live life. That's why the right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, they consist of the moral qualities, moral aspect, the sila aspect. Then when it comes to samadhi, is basically sati and samadhi. Then panya, of course, is the wisdom part. So panya is mainly right view. Then the cultivation, apart from sati and samadhi, you also have to apply the four right effort in the meditative training. The first two, especially the first right effort. The first right effort, you still need to develop some form of thought-based approach. Means you must have the mindfulness to see. That's why right effort to abandon the wrong thought or wrong speech, wrong action, and wrong livelihood that have arisen. So that one you need mindfulness. Then to abandon it, you need the third way. Silent awareness. That's why everything needs awareness. Then the fourth way is to develop the wisdom. So that one is to be mindful, to be aware of how this unarisen mental hindrance come to be. How the unarisen essential Dhamma come to be. So when you can be mindful and aware, then you will come to know how the unarisen mental hindrance comes to be. So through that observation, you come to see, then you know it's from one of your senses. That's why the meditative approach, 6 internal sense bases, mindfulness of the 6 internal sense bases and mindfulness of the 6 external sense bases. Thrilling of the 18 sense rhyme is very important. That one is a mindfulness training under the 4th category of cultivation of the 4th foundation of mindfulness. We call it Dhamma Nupassana. There are 5 categories. The first category is mindfulness of the 5 mental hindrances. The second category is mindfulness of the 5 aggregates of form and mind. Then the third one is mindfulness of the 6 internal sense bases and 6 external sense bases to trace the origination factor. How your mind stir, react, and create the mental hindrance, the wrong thought, the avijja, the sakayaditi, everything. You see that. Then retrospectively, through this understanding, you retrospectively reverse it by straightening your view. Because all this arise to wrong view, wrong thought, that you unknowingly grasp, cling to memory, through habitual tendency, through conditioning, belief system, views, opinion, and all these things. Your phobia, your fear, your whatever insecurity, anxiety, deep resentment, sorrow, lamentation, all these mind states are accumulated in your memory. That's why accumulation is suffering. The Mahayana do, they have this understanding. 苦寂灭道. So all this understanding, you must develop it so that you are no longer deluded by it. So hopefully with this clear understanding, you go back, listen to it attentively, understand it, then it will help you to develop the stability of understanding. Then when you meditate, it becomes very easy. Everything like very clear, like the blueprint to cultivate is clearly shown or laid out. Okay, we go back to the unique Dhamma code. So we will finish our code 44. The true mind is a silent mind which is tranquil, still, just aware. It is just an inner awareness within, not a being that can come out and live life. Then code 45 is similar. When mind is tranquil, not moving, and in stillness, that is passaddhi. To let you understand the enlightenment factor of passaddhi. Passaddhi is the silent mind, the meditative mind. That's why when you have passaddhi, means your mind has entered sthiti. That is what passaddhi is all about. When your mind enters sthiti, it is tranquil, it is still, and it is not moving. That's why the mind enters sthiti. And this passaddhi is an enlightenment factor. That's why it will lead to enlightenment in the here and the now. So this mind in sthiti is very important. If you don't go through this, you cannot understand the meditative awareness, the movement, everything. So when mind enters sthiti, everything you come to see, perceive, hear, smell, taste, tactile, feel, and think is all in sthiti. Because that mind is in sthiti. That's why this passaddhi is an enlightenment factor. When this mind in sthiti becomes so stable, then in the midst of daily life also is fully aware. That's why sati sampajana become continuous, very easy. And you are hardly lost in thought or hardly creating thought. Maybe it can arise when you want to understand, but it no longer like delude you, distract you, or cause any movement away from it. Through awareness, you can contemplate, reflect, and allow it to arise. And all this will be right thought, no more delusion. That's why it becomes very different. So, ability to develop this passaddhi which is mind in sati, or having entered sati, is very important. Then after that, the unique Dhamma Code 46 is also very important. I just read it. Then I will explain it the next sharing. Sense restraint. This one is in the Avijja Sutta. So what I have stated to you is very important. You all go back and reflect and contemplate on it. After having cultivated the initial wisdom or yoniso manasikara, your daily mindfulness and clear comprehension means sati sampajana, means step 4 and 5. Then sense restraint, ability to keep your precept, will come to be. This is obvious, isn't it? Sense restraint is step 6 of the Avijja Sutta. So we stop here. Okay. I'll mark this page. Okay. Now we will continue with the second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have, and also sharing.
Yes, good evening, Brother Teo, Mrs.
Yeah,
Teo,
good evening.
and
Yeah.
all Kayamitas.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Brother Teo.
Can, no
Far
problem.
I have not done so.
Mm-hmm.
So Sadhu Brother Teo for your very patient, untiring, and constant, profound sharing for the past few years.
Yeah. Sadhu.
And also, I would like to extend my thanks to all the committees also
Yeah.
for having this platform.
Yeah.
It's a very good platform for everyone to learn Dharma
Yeah.
and put this Dharma into our daily life.
Sadhu. Yeah. Very true.
And sadhu to Sister Alicia for her very good progress and good understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I benefit a lot also from this Dharma.
Sharing. Yeah. All the sharing.
Yeah. So I did encounter some life challenges,
Yeah.
but I mean I managed to face it and then accept
Confront it.
and
Confront it. And
confront it.
move beyond it.
Yeah.
Sadhu.
Other than that, maybe I just share some experience recently.
Can. Yeah.
So last Friday, Alicia called me
Yes.
to ask me for some help. So because of her order that she shared
The
earlier,
very large urgent order.
yeah, she asked me whether I can help. Of course, I have no problem helping her.
Sadhu.
So, and on that day itself, Freddie sent 2 boxes of I didn't really know how I would help lah, but she just told me that it's some packaging. So Freddie sent 2 boxes of tea pack to my office, and he just told me that that's what I can remember lah. He just told me that just follow the sample, which is very simple. So on that day itself, when I went back, so I quickly finished all my housework, and immediately I start off with all the packaging.
Sadhu.
Because I also hope that I can help to ease the burden a bit in a way,
Yeah.
So I went back after that. When I start after dinner, then I look at the packaging. So then I start doing the packaging lah. So I see how they do it, and I'm just follow the sample. The whole night that Friday, I just spend few hours on that packaging, and then I continue the next day, Saturday. I think second half day I came back. When I was free, then I continue with the packaging. So by Saturday night, I finish all the packaging.
Oh, sadhu.
So it's total about 1,600.
Wow, that's a lot. Almost more than half of what they need. They need 3,000.
Oh, no. It's part of it only. It's
I know. Because every item need to go into that set, isn't it? The kit, the first
The
aid.
set is 3,000, 3,500
Yeah, 3,000.
according to Alicia. But this one is part of the set actually.
Yeah, correct. One of the component.
Yeah. So the next day, I was so happy lah. I text her, oh, I finished it. So then the next day when I went to my mother's house, so I sent to her as well. So in order to save time lah,
Yeah, and they don't have to come out.
So when I sent to her office, so after the son take one out and see, how come it's only one pack? I say I follow the sample that Freddie gave me. I'm very sure that I follow because I check how they pack, and then the front and top also I just flip. So I make sure that I follow the sample lah.
Yeah.
So apparently this is not what the correct way,
Yeah.
So immediately, oh my God, just in my mind. So of course it's not acceptable,
Yeah.
So immediately, then the first thing come to my mind, oh my God, I have to repack the whole thing.
Yeah.
1,600 packet,
Yeah. That's why the thought has power to make people panic or fearful. So if you don't have the Dhamma, you cannot go. That fear is very real. It will intensify. But once you have the Dhamma, no need. Because thing is just the way it is. Meant to be will be. You have to correct it, revise, redo it. You have to do it. And it's not that difficult. It can be done.
Yeah, actually, that is the first thought in my mind lah. So Alicia also saw me. In that situation, then she just came close to me and then hugged me.
Yeah.
So
that was a very good one.
Yeah, it's not easy, 1,600
because you have
spend 3
tried
days.
your best to help and you have spent so much time doing it. Then when you deliver, only you came to realize that it was not according to what their requirement is. So this thing bound to happen. Actually, is quite common in society, especially many countries.
Yeah, but after that, that is only my thought now. So first thought, oh my God, I have to go through it. So anyway, that is the fact also. That's the reality that I have to repack again. So I brought back the 2 packs. two bags of the tea leaf. So I mean, I didn't have much negativity except that only thing that I have to take the hassle to unseal it, and then I have to put one more pack inside it, you know.
Oh, so it's just one pack missing lah.
Yeah, by right, one packaging there are two packets of
Yeah, means you short of one inside there. Or that one easy to rectify.
yeah, it's easy, but that is very time consuming, you know.
Yeah, correct. Because you have to unseal the thing.
Yeah. So anyway, I brought back. I was very calm lah. I mean I don't have much negativity also.
Sounds
So
good.
I came back.
That one is a very important understanding. The moment you have this negativity of mind state, you realize the karmic conditioning will come out. Then a lot more things will go wrong. But if you have the Dhamma, you are patient, you accept it, and just patiently go through it and do, everything will turn out to be beautiful, meant to be, will be. Because these are part and parcel of life experiences and training, learning. So all this bound to happen in manufacturing, in business, and all these things. Because when I was working that time, I also saw a lot of this thing happening in manufacturing environment. Even my brother, the elder brother's battery manufacturing process business, the same. But I was lucky because when I study my engineering course, I did study management paper. So under management, we got our time study and also the they call it the manufacturing process, where we also have a course to actually help us understand they call method study, time and method study. Means you study the manufacturing process, then whatever mistake or whatever critical part or what, we will identify it, then we shorten the process. That's why like what Freddy they all do, they farm out. Each and every component they farm out, then each and every you do that, come back, then everything. The final packing and all those things. So all these are very important processes that we need to develop and develop understanding to go through. For you, may be more difficult because you are seldom involved in manufacturing. I think your job environment is different, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Finally,
I mean,
how did it turn out?
So finally, I brought back. Then immediately I start packaging again, do the packaging again. So I think within that day, I finished more than half.
Oh, that's good.
So I mean, because of there's no negativity, so we just do.
Everything will be fine. It will be smooth.
So it's quite smooth lah, you know. So it took 2 days to finish off lah. So for the first day I finished more than half.
Then by Monday you should clear the rest.
Then the next day, so I was thinking, when I went to work the next day, so I was thinking, I'm very sure that I follow the sample. How can that be wrong, you know? So I did check the bottom and the upper part, you know. So it's impossible that I did it wrong. So
means the
I was
sample
thinking
given
about
to
it.
you was already like that.
I was thinking about it. If the sample is both sides, I'm sure the pack, the right one must be inside the box.
Correct.
So I just, after the second day, I went back. So halfway doing it, suddenly I found that there's one pack with two packs, you know.
Oh, no wonder. That was the
So
original one.
I suppose so. So
Yeah.
I really cannot figure out how can I mean do it wrong. I can't see the two pack because I really
Sometimes it's
I
like that.
that is very strange.
Yeah, it's meant to be for us to learn because in life, in nature, you cannot be like too confident on. Sometimes we may think that, oh, cannot go wrong, my dear, but something can still happen, and like what happened to you. Because normally we thought we are already very meticulous, means we really check and all that. But when it comes to new thing where we haven't done before, sometimes even old thing where we have done before, sometimes we can also make mistake or miss out things. Because it's like nature's weird way of testing us and letting us learn. That's why after going through the career life, the working life, then in between I managed to pick up some of this, and mainly is because my staff they are not that thorough and meticulous, so they tend to make mistakes. And sometimes I myself also somehow I thought can never go wrong already, but still go wrong. Then later only I realized because there was one more aspect which I didn't consider. That's why it went wrong that way. So in life, in nature, unless you already have that type of extensive understanding and wisdom, things can still go wrong. Yeah. So that's what I came to know. That's why later on, after that incident, I become very different. I look at things very differently. Important thing, I will be very extraordinary thorough, but not important thing, of course, as usual. We take it like normal, so we just clear it. So sometimes we make mistake because we didn't really give it enough attention. So all this is very good sharing so that other people, you can pick up all this, then it will come to good use. Maybe other Kayamita, after they hear this talk, this sharing, it may save them, I should say, from making that expensive mistake or, or what we call expensive way or serious, what word to use, means to learn it by having to pay, means you have to like how to describe means that mistake is costly. uh, uh, so if it can help you through this identify the thing so that this costly mistake will not happen, then it's already beneficial, helping a lot of people, especially those who are still maybe uh, not so uh, uh, not so old in their career path, means they are still relatively young, especially those 30, 40 years old. You can learn a lot from all this sharing. Uh, Sometimes you can really make mistake. Like my brother also, he made one very costly mistake in the manufacturing. Yeah. Because actually not his fault. Yeah. He was ordering this what they call uh, battery. Yeah, they got this plate. I think it's tin, if I'm not wrong. Oh no, zinc. Uh, what metal already? I forgot already. There is a type of metal where they need on. Uh, lead. Sorry, lead. My wife remember lead. So this lead, you have to buy from supplier. And whole Malaysia, I think that one was the biggest. So what happened was this guy didn't let the manufacturer know. No? He's trying out with a new machine that he bought. He want to save money. He go and use recycled lead. No? All the recycled lead. This one I think will help a lot of people. That recycled lead, recycling, they are not pure. They got a lot of other impurities and all that. So what they did was they melt all this. Then the process, I think they were not sure of the final product. They didn't even put to test or what. They manufacture as usual, one big batch, where luckily that time all the manufacturer kena. Yeah. But my brother has to pay a very costly mistake is because by the time he knew, the 2 container already sent to Italy. That one he got to compensate them and write off the whole thing. That was a costly mistake. So the lad actually later on I told him you must have contract. What you want to buy, give them your specification. If their specification is wrong and they didn't inform you, you can sue them for compensation or those things. That's why later on only he did all these things. Because he said, they are the biggest, everybody take from them, so we trust them. That batch really, a lot of people kena. But those who kena local one, not so bad. My brother one was because of the 2 big container he sent to Italy. That one, the cash flow almost wiped his business off. But luckily that time, his cash flow and our support was strong enough to actually let him survive that crisis. Otherwise, not easy. So this one is just the packaging problem. That one is very small problem. Ours one,
Yeah.
my brother one is because of that main lab, which is the basis of the functional component of the whole car batteries. So because of that, he cannot. Then there was another more minor one. Luckily, that time he already very careful. This guy who sell the separator to separate the thing he go and import one batch because cheaper I think. Then without letting my brother know, so my brother thought it's the same. Then they realize the worker realize it's different the separator. That one also give problem. Luckily, immediately he saw the difference. He actually stopped the production and the continuing manufacturing and sell out. So luckily he go and test it himself. The separator doesn't work. There was short circuit. But luckily that one, uh, the you call what damage control detected fast. Then after that, he never take from that guy anymore. He pay a bit more and get from reliable, and he put in the spec. He said he want this type which he has used before. If it's not like that, you have to inform us and all those things. That's why in manufacturing, when you buy all these things, you have to be careful. So sometimes it's not your fault, but overall you are responsible. Because all this component that is put into your product, you have to be responsible. And the cost of mistake can be very, very expensive. So this is good sharing. That's why I can remember. And this happened long ago. That time I think I just graduated. Easily 30 over years ago. So good sharing, Alicia. Sadhu. Oh, sorry, Elsie. Yeah. Yeah,
Actually, actually, I was quite careful. I don't know how I ended up.
Never mind. That's why you have to remember, no matter how sure we are, sometimes it is good to reject, because sometimes you will miss out thing on you thought cannot go wrong with you, but you will still miss out. Then sometimes
Yeah, I check how can that be? That's one. So anyway, anyway, luckily there's no negativity, so we just do it again. And I mean, this time I find it, even though I spend hours on doing all these things, I
your
don't
mind state
really.
is different already.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
And
you
I
no
don't really
longer
feel so
react
tired.
and become very negative, and like the proliferation of the wrong thought no longer arise. Otherwise, this proliferation of wrong thought a lot on. Mình chỉ係咁樣早啲同我講啊 otherwise so all this will go through the thought process That's why wrong thought is very, very dangerous So without mindfulness, without awareness to accept the reality, and like I said, resolve issue amicably. Do not react, do not stir your mind, accept what happened. Then be at peace with clarity, contemplate, reflect what really happened. Then you do what you have to do, resolve it amicably, no negative. And then you realize the karmic thing won't come in, it will not create negativity. Then everything will fall into place, then just resolve it. And these are important experiences. It will help serve us better in future. Then through all this sharing, it can also help other people. That's why we have to learn from those people who has gone through the trade, the experience and all things. So they can actually preempt a lot of things and prompt you to watch out for all these things. So do not be complacent. Do not take things for granted. Like my brother's case, every time also everybody order from him, he's the biggest, and every manufacturer also go to him. How can it go wrong? That is just what your thought tell you. When things supposed to go wrong, it will go wrong. That's why karmic, you have to pay back one. But karmic, like I said, if you have the wisdom and the mindfulness and the understanding, you can actually reverse it, overcome it, prevent it. I have seen it. I have personally encountered all this and resolved it. Then I realized the whole thing reversed by itself, and it's like no more. So initially, like very chill, but because of my training, my nature, my awareness, I see the sign, something is coming away. Then I can sense it. So for me, I don't have to go through all this what they call costly mistake and all those things. What I experienced was just minor, not something that is very costly to what to endure or whatever. But I know it's like letting me understand no matter how sure you are, things can still go wrong. That's why we cannot be very, very 100% sure and overconfident. In fact, complacency and overconfidence is a negative uh, uh, character, or what we call personality. So do not be complacent. Complacency is very dangerous. Then the other one is, I think, just now I used the word what? Overconfident. Complacency, overconfident. Yeah, I remember in the early days. Now this one I can share, because when I started learning about investment and all those things, then I study and I put in a lot of effort to develop the understanding. Then I was very careful because I hard-earned money. This money I cannot lose. I must make sure like almost 100%. Then only I invest. Because these are hard-earned money. Cannot lose. So what happened was I make it. The first few investment, I make quite good money. Then after that, like become complacent. You think you very good. Then my classmates all starting to approach me, talk to me, ask me, hey, next time got any of this good share, let us know. So because of complacency, so there was one incident I remember. I think 4 of us, the classmates, we were very close one. Yeah. So what happened was, that time the very popular way of investment, quick money, quick profit was this type of darling of the market, the stock that everybody like one. Then every time they announce bonus right and split, the stock will go up during the heydays. So what happened was, there was one classmate, he suggests that stock, where he just read the papers and say, we go in. That time they don't have much money. Although I make some money, we have to share on. 4 of us will share. The normal ratio is you have to buy minimum 5 lot or 10 lot to entitle for all the bonus, right, and split and all things. So we share. So I did a check on that share, that stock, and I realized a very lousy stock. Actually, no fundamental, and a lot of things can go wrong. But then what happened was, they were so confident and so happy because they heard rumors. Then one of them very vocal, because we were so close together as classmates. He said, we put it to a vote. He said. Then the 3 of them voted against me. So I got no choice. I said, okay lah. You all want it that way. No choice lah. I say, I take 1 share. So we all share. I remember that time, 1,000 plus each, 5 of us, about that share was, I think, to buy 5 lot or 10 lot, it was about 7,000 something. So we bought. Whereas there is the same share where we can buy for $6, which is 6,000 per lot. The dividend very good. You buy 6,000, the dividend is 400-500 ringgit. This is near to 8%. Whereas this fellow, 0, no dividend. And the company also not making money yet. So I warned them, I said, no. Then they don't believe. So okay lah, fair enough. So we all share. But after buy, normally the market, when it go up, it will continue to go up until the X date. Then when the X, that time, we have 5 lot become many lots. So then it will X higher, then you can take your profit and all that. That time, very chill. The market crash, collapse. Then all this type of hot stock also affected. So before the X date, it dropped until so low. Then out of that 6,000 something, the cost that we can recover is only, I think, 1/5 or 1,000 something. So after X, then all of them, in Cantonese they say mo sang chu lah. Then I said, never mind lah, at least we only lost a quarter of it. We have 4 of us share. So I said, you all want to make back the money or not? I got 1 stock that I analyzed already. That time was MGIC, I remember. We call Magic. It from 1 ringgit dropped to 40 cents. Then later on, when it turned around, it went up to $6, 6 ringgit. That was the stock I found. So when I told them that stock, they all don't believe it. I say, I forget about it like that. So I say, I am going to put all my money into that stock. I say, if you want, you all follow. If not, never mind. that I was the only one that bought them. That's why I make my house, my SS2 house. I put in with my profit, I think. I put in 30,000 I bought. I make 5 times of 150,000. And that was my first big gain now. The SS2 house almost free. That's why after that I tell myself, cannot be complacent. Yeah, I was too complacent because friend 3:1 vote against me. So then later on, I never give in that way anymore. Because no point. Your complacency can actually lead to all this. So it's like you cannot be very sure. Even though I successfully able to make the profit and all those things, but then it doesn't like it's like Dhamma to show you. You cannot be like complacent, and you cannot be like overconfident and arrogant. You think you're very good. No, there are situations that can really cause you to go wrong. So sometimes in life is not what we think. If you can have the understanding to mitigate your mistake, you are really very good. But to completely like root out until no mistake is almost impossible. But morally, yes. Spiritual, yes. But not in life. Life, when it comes to other things, cannot be 100%. Yeah, everything has its causes and conditions. Very complicated, very complex. And like they always say, 人算不如天算. The meaning is no matter how good you can like plan, calculate, and all those things, but nature has this marvelous way of unfolding. Then I got one classmate after he has gone through many years, after we have gone through the stock market 30-40 years later, we actually had a discussion now, and he came out with this understanding. He said, there is one thing you all must understand. He said, the stock market, very funny one. He said, you cannot predict on it. It will move in the direction where the most people get caught on. When the crash comes. You can never say you're very smart, you're very good or what. He said 90% get caught on during the crash. I say, yeah, I truly agree, because it will move in the direction where a big majority of the investor will get caught on because of greed and fear. So all these are actually part of the Dhamma. So what we observe in life, that market psychology and the human greed and fear, these are the basis of the psychological contribution to stock market movement. That's why we have the boom and bust. There is never a continuous growth or boom. Whatever that develop into a boom will also lead to a bust. So the cycle, they also observe there is a cycle, investment cycle, economic cycle, everything follow a cyclical movement, although the wave can be different depending on other causes, but it's not a perfect science where you can predict because too much variation. Okay, sorry for taking up so much of your time, Elsie. You can maybe summarize and just conclude. We are almost 10:30 already.
Yeah. Actually, for me, I was very confident. Anyway, I was very confident that I did it right. Yeah. Anyway, I have to accept the fact that it's not right lah. Anyway,
Yeah, not a problem. Because end of the
Ah,
day, it's not about right and wrong. It's about how we learn from all this.
yeah, that is very
Uh,
strange to me.
uh.
Anyway, I just accept the fact that I just do it. Whatever need to do, I just do lor.
Yeah.
So
That
there's
would
one
be
thing
good.
that I learned. I mean, in
Yeah.
after I
It's for learning. Yeah. That's why those who listen, they also learn. These are
and
life experiences.
yeah. So a lot of times now that even my when we come to work, my
Mm.
colleagues, when they make mistake, also we don't complain. We just accept
Correct.
it,
We
and
just
then we
resolve it.
just
Resolve it.
yeah, we
Uh,
just resolve it.
yeah.
Important is how we resolve it.
Yeah, that one is the most important.
Yeah,
Not to blame, not to point finger,
yeah,
not
not like
to
last
get
time
angry.
we did make noise. Why you do that? Why you do
Yeah,
that?
no point. Well, all those are irrelevant. Uh, happen already means happen. We have to resolve it amicably and move on. That's it.
Yeah,
Life
yeah,
is life is a learning curve where we need to understand this clearly. Then this is the Dhamma way. No negativity. Just develop the clear understanding, then resolve it amicably, move. Then apply the 3 steps.
yeah.
Mm.
So that is something that I noticed lah.
Yeah, Sadhu. Very good. Anything else, Elsie?
uh, that's about all my sharing lah.
Okay. Let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So this is also another aspect of sharing, where it involves Dhamma in daily life and also career aspect of sharing, where you encounter in your work environment, in your career environment. And for those who are doing manufacturing, you actually beneficial to listen to all this, because I realize manufacturing, a lot of mistake can happen on, because the manufacturing process, depending on what you use as the manufacturing process for your product, you have to be very careful, very tactful, and you must be very meticulous. Means just like last time when I was doing the maintenance and development, I very careful. Major thing I very careful, and I can foresee a lot of things. That's why when I was there, I did very well and hardly any problem. Whatever that surface, I resolve it immediately. Nip it in the bud. Okay, good. So let us now share merits. We start by sharing merits with the Devas. Akasata cha Bhumata Deva Naga Mahindika Punyang Tang Anamoditwa Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana Hitawata Chamehi Sampadan Punya Sampadan Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya Idang me nyati hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyati hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Idang me nyati hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo Devo vasatu kalena Sasa sampati hetu cha Vito bhavatu loko cha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Mina punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Sattang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, y'all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Bodhisattva, and all the worthy one. Then we shall end the whole Zoom session. Sadhu.